I mean, I'm not one of the people that pretend.
Okay.
I don't like Kennedy Agyapong. I can't like him.
Okay.
And since that day, we pray.
Because of your
Kennedy Agyapong, no, he attacked the prophetic to the highest level. Look at the stature of Kennedy Agyapong. And I flew to America to see him. And again, jurisdiction was a problem. Me call New Jersey saying I could see Kennedy Agyapong. The videos are there. And it has caused, it has cost our family a lot. It has cost us a lot. My son was going to school in Meba, London. Or co school, somebody referred to your father as a murderer. Me. First day, she must say, "Okra na mi nimo, na unimo bia." And so, Emery Pemu will let men know that they are men of God in this country. Will let prophet know, people know that God so has his men, and there are people who are watchers. There are people who are crying unto God. With the greatest of humility, they are not getting the wisdom to walk to some of us and say sorry. In any serious country, Kennedy Agyapong should have been in jail by now.
Be a suspect of that girl, not I will deal with you. Yes, yes. Nigel, Messi,
Because of Shenkom,
Messi, when you're ready,
not too long.
I have evidence coming
and
out.
the girl died.
Yes, Messi, I have evidence coming out. I will challenge you.
It was a very serious
We are not going to allow you fake pastors to deceive Ghanaians, kill them, take their assets. Who the hell do you think you are? You are an asshole.
No, but the old kind say we jana manyame. Say ne wie ya man na.
No, you can't say Kennedy Agyapong.
All right, what happens when a prominent religious figure and a really powerful politician clash in the public square? Well, the fallout can be explosive. Today, we're going to break down a high-stakes war of words between two of Ghana's most well-known personalities. This is a feud that went from public accusations all the way to international lawsuits. So who are the key players? So on one side, you've got Prophet Nigel Gaisie, the very influential leader of Prophetic Hill Chapel. And on the other side, Kennedy Agyapong, a businessman and politician who is, let's just say, notoriously outspoken. Now, when these two worlds collide, it's never just a personal dispute, is it? It becomes this huge public spectacle that makes you ask some serious questions about power, influence, and justice in Ghana. So what in the world sparked this firestorm? Well, according to Prophet Gaisie, it all kicked off with one public accusation, and it was an allegation so serious it immediately took their feud from just a war of words to a full-blown battle for his reputation, and even his freedom. Yeah, this wasn't just your typical political mudslinging. The accusation that lit the fuse was one of the most serious you can possibly imagine: murder. So from Gaisie's perspective, in just an instant, this public claim put his entire ministry, his reputation, everything, it was all on the line. And you can just feel how personal this accusation was in Gaisie's own words here. He claims he wasn't just labeled a murderer, but that his accusers took it a huge step further, allegedly hiring people to back up what he insists was a completely false story. So Gaisie's side of the story really details what he saw as this coordinated attack. The accusation was centered on a woman named Wendy, and the claims were made even bigger with talk of supposed video evidence. He alleges that people were actually paid to bolster the story, turning what was a personal tragedy into a tool for, in his words, a malicious agenda. But here's where it gets even more serious. According to Gaisie, these allegations didn't just stay on TV or the radio. He says they led to very real, very serious, and repeated run-ins with the law. Gaisie describes this really distressing cycle. He says a public allegation would be made, and then, like clockwork, he'd be arrested by the police and taken to the Okumota Mile 7 police station. And he's clear, this wasn't a one-time thing. He claims this happened countless times. The stakes, in his telling of it, got incredibly high. In this quote, Prophet Gaisie claims he was right on the verge of being jailed. And he credits the intervention of just one person, Teresa Uhuni's husband, with keeping him a free man. I mean, that's a pretty stark statement about how close he believes he came to losing his liberty. So, feeling like he was being targeted at home, Prophet Gaisie decided to fight back on a completely different front. He took the battle abroad, hoping to find some kind of justice on the international stage. The plan was pretty straightforward. Fly to the United States and file a lawsuit against Kennedy Agyapong in New Jersey. Now, that's a bold move, right? An attempt to find some neutral legal ground. But as he found out pretty quickly, international law isn't quite that simple. So why did his grand plan fail? Well, it all came down to this critical legal hurdle, a jurisdictional problem. And to put that in simple terms, a court in New Jersey just doesn't have the authority to rule on a dispute between two Ghanaian citizens that happened back in Ghana. The U.S. court basically had to say, sorry, this isn't our fight. And just like that, the international lawsuit was stopped dead in its tracks. So after all of this, the public accusations, the alleged arrests, the international lawsuit that went nowhere, this entire ordeal had a really profound impact on Prophet Gaisie, specifically on how he viewed Ghana's own justice system. And this is interesting. This whole mess actually seems to have shifted his perspective. Gaisie admits that going into this, he had pretty much zero faith in Ghana's judiciary. But after everything he went through, he says that confidence has actually grown. He does add that crucial little phrase, though, to an extent, which kind of hints at a cautious trust, not a total one. But make no mistake, his newfound confidence in the system doesn't mean he thinks justice was actually served. Prophet Gaisie's final word on the whole thing is a really powerful statement. He argues that in any serious country, the kinds of accusations made against him should have landed his accuser in jail. So, after walking through this whole saga, this very public feud, we're kind of left with a huge question. When powerful people use their platforms to make incredibly serious allegations against each other, who's responsible for finding the truth? And in a public battle of reputation and influence, what does accountability even look like?